Question for you. If you could jump into a time machine, let's say it's one of those hot tub time machines, and go back to visit your 20-year-old self, what is the one piece of career advice you would give yourself? Have a think about it. But it can only be one piece of advice. If you're struggling for ideas, then pay attention, because by the end of this video, you'll learn the only piece of advice I will give my children. With that said, if you're too impatient, then please do feel free to flick ahead to the end where I explain the advice that I will give. Have a look in the chapters below for where to click. What do you want to be when you grow up? This was a question that you hear a lot when you are younger. When I was a kid, I dreaded the question. I never had a good answer. I just didn't really know. I thought about being a sportsman and would love to have played cricket for Somerset. Or perhaps a lawyer. They get to argue for a living. Or perhaps even a doctor, but to be quite honest, 7 years of medical training or medical school didn't really fancy that. It's fair to say that the adults and grown-ups always seemed terribly disappointed that I wasn't dreaming of becoming something grand or heroic, like a filmmaker or an astronaut, for example. But that's how it went. I know that in most cases the question is asked with the best of intent. This is because we want those younger than us to be encouraged to dream, encouraged to shoot for the stars, to aim big. Life pulls us down so quickly through responsibilities, turmoil and pain, that being a kid is one of the only times we truly get to be limitless in our thinking. But why did I hate the question so much? The problem I had with it is that you need to decide so early in life. Think about it for a moment. Here in the UK, the moment you turn 16, you start preparing for your career. This is because you choose your A-levels, so the final school exams, that will help you go to university and ultimately form the foundation of your career. I know there are some assumptions here and that not all will go to university, which I actually agree because it's not for everybody. But let's go with that for now. The degree you want to aim for will have some prerequisite grades and in turn likely have some mandatory subjects. For example, to go to university to do physiotherapy, which is what I want to do, you needed to have chemistry A-level. Well, I was pretty shit at chemistry, so gave it up at GCSE level. So they're the exams that we take here in the UK up to the age of 16. So I couldn't aim for a physiotherapy degree because I didn't have the prerequisite subjects. But when I chose to drop chemistry at the age of 15, I had no idea this would be a limiting factor. I would only actually find this out the hard way later in life. But even before leaving school, my career choices have been narrowed down. And that's my issue with it. Fundamentally, you have to decide at school what it is you want to be. And that is hard if you don't really know. You might be one of the lucky few that has identified a calling in life, and if that's the case, then effing run with it. Just go for it. Go for it with all your heart. Because many people don't. And this is where I get cross with myself, looking back now. School is a tough environment. Not for me in terms of hard knocks, unless that was on the rugby field, but for the choices you have to make and the exams you have to sit. It's bloody stressful. And hugely influencing later on in life, whether you like it or not. Don't get me wrong, I had a brilliant time. I played lots of sport, made lots of friends, and learned a few things too. Even went to school on Saturday mornings. How about that? Big shout out to Taunton Junior Boys School as it was then, and latterly Taunton School. But there is huge pressure. Pressure on what you think you should do. Pressure on what you think you should do next. And this is where I made a mistake. I went down the path of pursuing what I thought I should do rather than what I enjoyed. The real issue is I didn't really know. How could I? The world was my lobster and I could go after anything, but doing anything also wasn't an option. Can you imagine saying to your career advisor at school, I just fancy doing anything? They'd look at you, shake their head, and ask you to try again. So I pursued a route which seemed sensible. It wasn't what I overly enjoyed or was good at, but the subjects would help me move towards my future career, which I was still aspiring to be a physiotherapist. Looking back, I should have chosen my A-level subjects that were my best subjects and would give me the best chances for my best possible grades. I must admit, sitting here now reflecting on it some 25 years later, it does make me feel a little emotional. When I broke my neck playing rugby at the age of 15, it opened my eyes to the world of physiotherapy. I'd never really been exposed to the profession that helped many people get back to full fitness. In my case, it was being able to move my neck and return to normal life, having been incredibly lucky not to be paralysed from the neck down. I loved dealing with people, and operating in the sports world seemed like a career route made in heaven. So that's what I wanted to do. That's why I felt compelled to sit the A-levels that would give me the prerequisites to study physio rather than those that would give me the best grades. If I had my time again, I would probably study English, business studies and PE rather than business studies, biology and history. I mean, in case you're wondering, I did all right, but certainly not well enough to study physio. In fact, I didn't get any offers to study a physio degree, so I took a year out and went to South Africa to teach in a prep school, which was singularly one of the best experiences of my life. And that's why I talk about pressure and hating the question at school. But then the same happens when it comes to a job. We get channeled into a path that many have travelled before us, and without realising it, you're a decade or so into your career and only then realise that there are other options. Let's consider for a moment the traditional career route. You ready for this? You go to school, you work hard, you get good grades, you graduate. You go to university, you graduate. You get a job, you work hard, you get another job, you work harder, you get another job, you work hard, you retire, then you die. Ouch, that sucks. But that's what many of us do. I mean, why would any of us sign up for this if it's not what we want? The answer is there is no other way, or so we thought. Thankfully, there is an alternative, one that has become more acknowledged and accepted in recent years. I like to call it the alternative career route. You go to school, you work hard, you get good grades, and then you decide what it is that you like doing and follow that. I mean, it's much simpler and shorter, but one I believe will benefit most. It doesn't mean that you can't follow the traditional career route, but only if that's what you like doing. A number of you are probably thinking, well, this is all good and well, Brendan, but it doesn't really work like that. But that's how I felt, so I know exactly where you're coming from. It wasn't until I read Marianne Cantwell's incredible book, The Free-Range Human, that it all of a sudden became clearer. Never before have I felt a book was written solely for me. It struck me hard. It felt as though Marianne was describing my life and my journey. It's just a shame that I read this about 5 years ago and not 25 years ago, because it was so eye-opening and really put everything into perspective. I'll put a link in the description below and would highly encourage you to read it. Now, going back to the alternative career route, it is important to remember that new jobs are being created all the time that quite simply didn't exist 10 years ago. Anything in the data world, for example, or social media world, and that's not even considering the gaming and esports worlds. Who knows what will be available to the younger generations by the time they grow up? I mean, we could all be working in the metaverse. Now, don't get me wrong, as I am very grateful for the guidance my parents gave me, and they supported me wholeheartedly and even helped me through when I wanted to quit my accounting exams. But if I had my time again, I would do things very differently. For a start, I would never have gone into the corporate world. I have learned in recent years that I am far more free-spirited than I realised back then, and didn't feel like I could be myself until at least 10 years after starting my career. This was a breakthrough moment. I mean, at the time, I won some work with a very good friend from school and was asked to build an international analytics function at a global media firm. But it was more than that. I was given an opportunity to just be me. Yes, there was a role profile, but I was told, just go and be you and build a following. I mean, wow. Even thinking about it now makes me smile. This was just what I needed to hear, and though I didn't know it at the time, because it was about 6 months later that I realised how pivotal a moment it was for me. I didn't have to pretend or act in a particular way that was to conform to the environment I was in. The corporate world, think accountancy, finance and banking especially, doesn't lend itself to free or big thinkers. I mean, it certainly didn't back then, even if it's got a bit better now. You can't be strategic and big thinking when you're starting out in your career in the corporate world. It just doesn't work. You need to do your time and earn your stripes. You can't be more free-spirited as you need to conform to the rigours of the corporate structures. Now, don't get me wrong, it was, on the whole, a positive experience, but I see now that it was not where I should have been. But I didn't realise this until much later. Now, I don't give advice, but what I would say to anyone who's starting out their career is please don't make the same mistake I did. And this is why I've been reflecting a lot on what I would say to my unborn child when it comes to their career. The world we live in will be a very different place when he or she is starting their first job. And that's why I'm in a quandary. Do I impart what I think is right or let them work it out for themselves? Every parent's biggest dilemma, I suppose. I decided I would write down the advice I would give and see how it would sound out loud, and to be quite honest, this video is the byproduct of that. I know I won't be able to tell, nor would I want to tell him or her what to do with their life, but I would like to offer some guidance along the way. I wish for them to be happy and successful, whatever they choose to do in life. So, here goes. It's pretty simple really, but bear with me. Number 1, find something that you really like to do. I mean, really like to do. It may take some time to figure out, but please don't stop until you get there. There will be plenty of people that try and pull you back onto the traditional road or coax you into a more safer environment or job, but please keep searching for what it is that you really like to do. You're likely to have some failures, but keep going. That is all part of life's rich tapestry. Number 2, work very hard at becoming extremely good at it. There will always be a demand for expertise, and nothing has been truer since the advent of the internet and growth in technology. Engineering, data science, media and other roles have all emerged from the movement of 0 to 1 in the internet. Thank you, Mr. Peter Thiel. So focus on becoming the best you can be in the thing that you like to do. Investing in yourself is the single best investment you can make because it will pay multiples in the time and effort that it takes and will follow you wherever you go. Working hard is a foundational trait, and as my dad would say to me, anything worth having in life is hard work, otherwise everyone would have it. So work hard and be excellent. Now, number 3 is be as nice as possible to every person you meet along the way. For me, manners cost nothing at the end of the day, and I don't care where someone comes from or the role they do, you should treat them as you would want to be treated. So say hello to the cleaners, hold the door open for others, offer to carry a bag up the stairs for someone less able. Work hard at being a nice person. At the end of the day, it is my strongly held belief that if you are really good at something that you love doing, you're probably going to be okay in life. And if you've been kind, supportive and helpful with everyone you encounter, you'll find that there's plenty of good support network out there ready to return the favour when you need it. There are a few talents that I've come across which have no market whatsoever, but they're relatively uncommon. Some things are harder to make a living from than others, and you know what? If you become very good at what you do and work hard at it, there's usually reward for that passion and effort. So that's it. Those are the 3 pieces of advice that I would give to my unborn child. And ultimately, if you like this video, I would highly recommend this one here where I talk about quitting my job with nothing to go to because I hated the Sunday evening blues. I mean, having just talked about career advice, it is very relevant and tells the story of my leaving a very stable job at the time of a financial crisis from the world's biggest accountancy firms with absolutely nothing to go to. So with that, have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.